Jason, a 20-year-old college student, had always been drawn to older women. There was something about their confidence, experience, and the way they carried themselves that fascinated him. He wasn't inexperienced with relationships, but he had never been with a woman like her. Her name was Victoria, a 40-year-old businesswoman, recently divorced and rediscovering life. She was his best friend's mother, someone he had seen at school events, their house parties, and casual dinners. She had always been polite but distant until that one fateful night. The opportunity. It was a rainy evening when Jason found himself at her house. His friend, Mark, had gone on a trip, but Jason had promised to help Victoria with fixing her home Wi-Fi. What started as a simple favor turned into a glass of wine, then two. The storm outside raged on, and the dimly lit room made everything feel more intimate. Victoria was dressed casually, yoga pants and a loose shirt, but to Jason, she looked breathtaking. The conversation flowed naturally, laughter filled the air, and for the first time, Victoria saw Jason not as just her son's friend, but as a man. "You've grown up," she said, almost absent-mindedly as she twirled her wine glass. Jason smirked. "And you don't look a day over 30. She chuckled but blushed. There was something in his eyes, bold, yet tender, that sent a shiver down her spine. Crossing the line, a sudden power outage plunged the house into darkness. Jason, reacting quickly, moved closer, his presence both protective and enticing. "You okay?" he asked, his voice softer now. Victoria nodded, but the closeness was intoxicating. The scent of his cologne, the warmth of his breath, it was dangerous, yet thrilling. "Maybe I should get going," Jason whispered, but neither of them moved. Then, as if by magnetic pull, their lips met. It was slow at first, hesitant, but once the dam broke, there was no stopping. She tasted like wine and temptation, and Jason knew there was no turning back. A night to remember. The storm outside roared as they stumbled into the bedroom. Clothes fell to the floor, hands explored unfamiliar territory, and gasps filled the night. Jason had never experienced something so passionate, so forbidden. Victoria, in turn, felt a live desire in a way she hadn't in years. It wasn't just physical. There was an emotional connection neither of them had anticipated. For Jason, it was the thrill of finally being with the kind of woman he had fantasized about. For Victoria, it was the exhilarating feeling of being wanted for more than just her age or status. The aftermath. Morning came too soon. Jason woke up first, watching Victoria sleep peacefully. She looked serene, but as her eyes fluttered open, reality set in. "What have we done?" she whispered, sitting up and pulling the sheets around her. Jason reached for her hand. Something that felt right. She sighed. It can't happen again. But they both knew that was a lie, the secret affair. Days turned into weeks, and what started as a one-time mistake became an affair they couldn't resist. They met in secret hotel rooms, late-night rendezvous, stolen moments at her house when Mark wasn't home. The thrill of secrecy made it even more intoxicating. But secrets never stay hidden forever. The reckoning. Mark began noticing changes. His mother was happier, glowing even. Jason, on the other hand, was acting strange, dodging questions, avoiding eye contact. Then one evening, as Jason was sneaking out of Victoria's house, he ran straight into Mark. "What the hell are you doing here?" Mark asked, his eyes narrowing. Jason froze. There was no good excuse. Before he could respond, Victoria appeared at the door, her expression betraying everything. Mark's face contorted in realization. "No, tell me this isn't happening." Victoria reached out. "Mark, please." But he backed away, shaking his head. "You're my best friend," he spat at Jason, "and you're my mother." The consequences. The fallout was devastating. Mark cut Jason out of his life completely. Victoria, torn between guilt and longing, ended things for good. Jason tried moving on, dating girls his age, but nothing compared to what he had with Victoria. She, on the other hand, attempted to rebuild her relationship with her son, though the wounds took years to heal. But some nights, when the world was quiet and loneliness crept in, they both thought about each other, about what could have been. Epilogue. Some flames never die. Years later, they ran into each other at a cafe. Jason, now 25, was more confident, more mature. Victoria, still radiant at 45, looked at him with a sad smile. "Do you ever think about us?" he asked. She hesitated, then whispered, "Every day." And just like that, the fire was reignited. Some desires never truly fade. The end.